But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee. Because there is wrath, beware lest he take thee away with his stroke.
That's right, man. And that's why we're warning you people, man. Because Paul said, roughly paraphrasing, through the terror, through the fear of the Most High, we persuade men. Because we know what the Most High, we can envision as seers, right? And as visionaries, we can envision what's to come, man. The type of destruction, the level of calamities, all right. All types of madness is going to come upon the world, all right. And that's really just because Israel decides not to listen to the Most High. The Most High is only dealing with Israel.
It says, because there is wrath, beware lest he take thee away with his stroke, then a great ransom cannot deliver thee. Will he esteem thy riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength.
Yo, that's beautiful. So it doesn't matter how famous you are in the society or how much money you have, you can't buy your way into the kingdom, man. You can't buy salvation.
Lazarus.
You can't. You know, because even with Esau has the majority of our people, okay, that have sold out to them, have sold their soul to Esau, that they're going to be able to buy their way into salvation when all hell breaks loose. But it's going to be to their folly when they find that Esau locks the door on them. Okay, guess what? At the end of the day, you're still a nigga to them. No matter how much money you have or how much money you've made them, you're still a slave.
You know what happened? That's what happened when Kobe left the league. He's like, when he announced that he was going to retire and then they put up his jersey, he's like, the NBA didn't even say like, thanks. They didn't even say like, yo, you're leaving. They just said, okay, nigga. You got 100 niggas lined up to take your spot.
That's Kobe Bryant, man. That's crazy.
The Coltster.
Yeah. That's crazy. See, you're just another nigga to them, man.
Hey, it should remind me of there's a verse in the prophet that said that a man's glory is as a flower. It's short. You know what I'm saying? You're up, you didn't even get a proper goodbye.
Yeah.
Verse 20. Desire not the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, regard not iniquity. For this hast thou chosen rather than affliction. Behold, the Most High exalted by his power, who teacheth like him. And that was it.
Okay, get
What's that scripture? You've already received your consolation. Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah. And I think it's 6 and... Yeah, 6. Yeah, Luke. Yeah, 24.
6 and 22. Verse 22. So which one did you want?
Romans, oh no, sorry, 2 Peter 2.
This is 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you.
That's right.
Who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them.
That's right, man. You know what a damnable heresy is? It's bringing abomination into the church and saying that they can be saved. You got that going on in the churches, man. You know, you got homosexuals coming up in the churches believing that they can be saved. You know what? And that's confusing. That's confusing to our people, man. That's just madness. And they're privately bringing that in because at the end of the day, the church is just a business. That's it. So the more customers you have, the more money you make, no matter what they are. And that's what you call filthy lucre's sake. Because that's what they're doing it for.
Says, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
That's right.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you.
That's right. Go ahead.
Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness.
Break that down, Dave.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because the angels are. You want to get Jude as well because those chains of darkness are these bodies that we live in, right? Because when you go back to Romans 7, that whole chapter, Paul talks about how he's constantly in a battle between his spirit and his flesh. You know, because a lot of people believe that, you know, what's that called?
That we could be perfect.
Yeah, Book of Enoch, where it was like 2/3 of the angels fell onto the earth, and they slept with the human beings and whatnot. When really the angels is talking about Israelites, man. Because technically,
That's going into, they think that's going into the Nephilims.
yeah, the Nephilims, yeah, the Nephilims. Yeah, Genesis 6, that's right. When really the angels are the Israelites, man. Because we're at the end of the day, we're spirits, just like the angels are. But we're spirits in these chains of darkness, which are these bodies.
That's right.
The only reason why we go off is because of these bodies. You know? You have that in Jude?
Yeah.
Okay, go
This is
ahead.
Jude chapter 1 verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation.
So what was our first estate? Was the knowledge and the understanding of the Most High, which comes from the Bible. Simply keeping the commandments. That was our first estate. Okay?
I believe an estate goes back to like a home or a dwelling place as well. So that's our home, these scriptures.
The scriptures, that's our home, that's right.
It says, He hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
So we're here in these bodies until we come to the judgment of the great day, which is what we preach about week in and week out. Right? The end and the downfall of this wicked society. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I just had to correct myself. Estate, it's really just legal rights, interests, and entitlements to your property of any kind.
Okay.
So these are our rights, and this is our property, you know.
Back in 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse...
Oh no, get
Oh,
more
you
on
want
that.
more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
more on that. I think there's a little more on that.
Oh yeah.
It goes into Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, okay, back. Okay, you got that. All right.
So back in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4, just so we can reiterate it again. For if the Most High Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell.
Because even the elect, you know what? We sinned as Lord willing we're of the elect. Even the elect went off. You know, because at the end of the day, when you go all the way back to Adam and Eve, you know, when they were pushed out of the garden because they disobeyed the Most High and ate of the fruit, when really that fruit was just another doctrine. That's when we started going off as a nation, man. Right? But because through the mercies of the Most High, through Yahweh Shai, the elect are blameless. Because in this wicked society, full of, what we said that Esau said there's like 7 billion people on this planet. 11 billion people on this planet. You got seven? Okay, 7 billion people on this planet. You got 144,000 men that are trying to be righteous.
It's a drop of the bucket.
You know what I mean? That's tiny. And that's 1%. That's supposed to be 1% of a countless nation.
Wow.
So how much more the rest of the world?
That's right.
Well, that's very special.
It says, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness.
That's right, because the Most High back in the day destroyed the. That's where he got Pangea from when he flooded the earth. Because at that time the landmass was all one, right? But then when he flooded the earth, it broke apart, and the Most High only spared 8 souls. So that's a good illustration or a metaphor to what I just said. Back then, not knowing how much people were on the earth, but there was 8 souls that the Most High deemed to be saved out of all the people that were on the earth back then. And we got 10 times more people on the earth now, and it's the same thing all over again. But now through this time, it's gonna be fire. You know?
And when you look in biblical numerology, the number 8 really just means new beginnings.
Oh,
So that was new beginnings of what the world is going to be like, you know, going down.
Yeah, going down. Con. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Right, because the nation started out of, was it Shem, Ham, and Japheth?
Yeah.
Right? So that's where we all came from.
It says, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly,
That's right.
and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow,
That's right.
making them an example unto those that are after, that those that after should live ungodly.
And that's the Most High's plan this time around.